Today, we are talking about the history of Pulaski Soda Works, a soda bottling company that was founded in 1909 by Vincent Creger. Right here, standing in the alleyway behind the Pulaski Shell gas station on South Wisconsin Street in Pulaski, Wisconsin, is where the structure stood. It was a 20 by 28 foot wood and cut stone structure. It was 2 stories high, and rumor has it there was an artesian spring that fed into the building that was used for producing soda. Pulaski Soda Works remained in business until 1978, when the doors closed for good under Norbert and Terry Kuava. Let's start at the beginning. Pulaski Bottle Works was founded in 1909 by Vincent Creger. Vincent was the son of Theophil, who at the turn of the century owned and supervised 3 different businesses: a sawmill, gristmill, and saloon in Huffa Park. Even the cheese factory in Huffa Park was owned by Vincent. Vincent was the father of Clarence Creger, grandfather to Jim Creger. According to his grandson Jim Creger, he said his grandfather was quite the entrepreneur, starting and then selling several businesses in Wisconsin throughout his lifetime. In a recent interview with Jim, he told us an interesting fact.
When Huffa Park plays ball, Grandpa donated that land.
According to the 1920 census, in that year Vincent Creger was running the cheese factory in the area. This suggests that the sale to his sister Lucille and brother-in-law Frank of the Pulaski Soda Works likely occurred sometime between 1915 and 1920, as Creger no longer appears to have been operating the soda company by 1920. Lucille was very involved in Pulaski Soda Works. According to Jim, Lucille was the chief bottle washer.
She'd get the orange cases out, get them all washed up, get them ready to fill. She did most of that.
When the company started, there was only one machine that bottled soda, and only one bottle at a time. The machine was on the main floor and had hoses leading up through the ceiling to the syrup and mixing room. Thanks to Twiggs Beverage in Shawano, Wisconsin, here is an example of the type of soda carbonation equipment that Pulaski Soda Works most likely used. In 1916, there was an addition added on to the soda bottling factory.
And then he added a boot cup on top there so he could mix the soda.
Frank retired from Pulaski Soda Works in 1945. It was then that he sold the business to his son and daughter-in-law, Norbert and Terry Kuava. Norbert and Terry had 4 children: John, Michael, Rex, and Judy was the only daughter. During a recent interview, Judy recalls that her parents lived above Wicca's Bar before moving into the home that her grandparents occupied. It was sometime after her grandfather passed away in 1960 that her family moved into the home in front of the bottling company. This home was built by her grandparents, Frank and Lucille, in 1923 on the property with the factory. Something very interesting from all of this that Judy remembers is that Grandma Lucille always wanted her son Norbert to become a priest. Well, that never materialized, even though Norbert did attend St. Bonaventure High School. He then went on to work at Clover Farm Store on the south side of Pulaski Street. The building still stands today, and some might remember the Bonin store. After high school, her father was drafted into the Army. Soda was separated by flavor: oaky root beer, orange squeeze, lemon lime, cherry sparkle, black cherry, pineapple, cream, sparkle cola, ginger ale were just a few of the flavors that both Jim Creger and Judy Phillips remember. Some of the syrups they used were franchised. Jim Creger remembers working for the company when he was in 3rd or 4th grade. He and his brother Ronnie did most of the sorting of the bottles. As he got a little older, he helped with delivery. He was in charge of putting the empties on the truck when they went to visit customers like Irene's Bar in Anston. Creger said Irene was a card. He also remembers delivering to Visa's, Tony's, Fuzzy's, and Zablocki's. Creger remembers getting rewarded with popcorn, potato chips, and candy bars afterward. At times, he had to drive Norby home, and he talked about how hard it was getting the vehicle out of third gear. I might mention that he was only a teenager and not old enough to drive at the time.
Out of first, second, third, I could not get it out of third gear. Everything he had a double clutch it. Okay. You know.
What was it like working in the factory?
What I got there was all automatic gear. Okay. Filled up and boom, cap came on. Words were said when a bottle broke.
I believe it.
Well, you had to shut it down right away and make sure the cap slot was cleaned out.
As a family business, Norb, Terry, and all the kids worked in the factory. They did everything from sorting bottles, mixing syrups, bottling, double-checking every bottle for cork floaters, washing bottles, and delivery. She too remembers getting a bag of potato chips and a bottle of soda going on deliveries. Pulaski Soda Works eventually changed its name to Town Beverage or Townie Beverage, as Ron Smorava remembers it.
That was a fantastic place to go to when you were a kid because Tony always gave us a soda.
Yeah.
And I delivered paper there for I don't know how many years. My brothers did too. So you go there, it'd be like Friday to go and get paid for something, the papers. And then he says, let's go back over there. So you go down there, you got yourself a cola. Cherry cream sodas were absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, that was Townie Beverage.
After the company closed, and since glass bottles were hard to come by, the bottles were sold to Seymour Beverage under the ownership of Melvin Kuski. There was evidence that many of the printed Pulaski soda bottles were used by Seymour Beverage, even though it would have been considered a trademark infringement. Today, you can still find empty bottles where there's evidence that the imprinting was etched off. According to Dan Hartwig, owner of Twiggs Beverage in Shawano, Wisconsin, after Seymour Beverage closed, Twiggs Beverage purchased bottles from Seymour Beverage, and many of the Pulaski Soda Works and Townie bottles came as part of the sale and are currently being housed by Twiggs Beverage. Since they were not able to use the imprinted or ACL, which means applied ceramic labeling, because this is a permanent fusion of the company name to the glass bottles, they were going to donate the bottles to a zoo in northern Wisconsin that fed the bears with soda. Due to the COVID pandemic, that never materialized. Even though the original Pulaski Soda Works building has been torn down, the legacy of this family-owned business lives on through the memories, artifacts, and historical records that remain. Thank you to the Creger and Kuava families who poured their hearts and entrepreneurial spirit into this business, passing it down through the generations. For almost 70 years, the Pulaski Soda Works quenched the thirst of the local community, supplying bars, grocery stores, church picnics, and other events with its delicious carbonated beverages made from the natural artesian well on the property. The sweet and fizzy flavors it produced may have faded, but the lasting impact of Pulaski Soda Works continues to be felt in Pulaski to this day.
My dad had the business, bowling alley and bar and restaurant. I remember at times, not very often, that he used to send I and my brother down to get an extra case of soda if he was running out of a certain type, and then bringing it back.
The best orange soda, and my uncle went and bought cases of it, so that's all I know.